What's going on, guys, and welcome back. So been a couple weeks since we've done a video. Still just pretty busy. I have a lot planned though. We'll have an updated peer list on the channel probably tomorrow, and per your guys' vote in the Facebook group, the first variant we're going to cover will be Cyber Branded, followed by Dogmatica and a trap build, and then more to come afterwards. But we're going to really start working on these and try to figure out the best way to play in the current format. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys stick with us on our journey. Additionally, there is a link below for a survey. I did it last year as well, just some 10 quick Cyber Dragon related questions. So far we have 14 answers and 0 people got it 100% right so far. So see how much you know, what can you do, and go answer that survey real quick, and yeah, test your knowledge if you will. So without further ado though, we got 3 duality combos that you should know, a couple power bond plays, and then some just general plays. This isn't going to be a super extensive, insane video, so if you're more familiar with the deck, you're probably not going to learn a whole lot, but it would be good to make sure you know these play lines and interactions. It is storming, that was the flashlight, so if you hear anything, that's what it is. But yeah, this is more of a beginner's guide or a refresher course, if you will. So if we go ahead here, this is just a standard like duality Cyber Dragon combo. So you just special summon your Cyber Dragon, you can go duality into it, and then you can go into a Rampage Dragon, obviously Rampage effects, and then you can go hers. You can get Naxter if you want. You can go ahead dump hers and core. You can dump hers and dry, depending on what build you're playing, where your game state is. This one I just made it for a really easy infinity, Nova detaching, then summon hers, special summon, get your infinity and absorb it just so you can gain that advantage back next time. Keeping in mind you cannot summon Rampage Dragon because it was not properly summoned with a Naxter. Hint hint, reminder, keep that in mind if you take that quiz. Just gave you guys one of the answers. This one very similar again. You go Galaxy Soldier and your opponent chains infinite impermanence. You can duality to get rid of it and to dodge it, so then your impermanence goes through. So then we can go ahead, like I said, you can grab core off your hurts, core, then search whatever you want, repair plant, then you can still do your Galaxy Soldier, discard and summon. And obviously if you're going second, you're not going to want to do this, but if you're going first, you can. And SP Little Knight is such a crazy card for the deck. It makes our normal combos back to multiple interruptions, whereas for a while there they weren't because Verde got hit. However, it is once again. So keep in mind, duality can help you play around like imperm or targeted negation. This was if your opponent, like, you can stop them, or you have Orochi plus duality. Orochi plus duality is 10,500 damage. Just thought you guys should see how that works. Obviously you're going to be burning through your deck, so you're going to kind of try to one-shot it and make it count. Obviously the deck is only 29 cards, you can see. This is not an actual deck, this was a deck put together for the purpose of this video. So I know people always say, oh, what's the deck list? Come back tomorrow, I'll have my updated peer list, and then we'll have a series of videos where we go through building variants of the deck, why we make choices, why we do what we do, and those specific play lines. I was going to include some variant combos here, but I really want to tear them down and go in depth, and that's why we're going to do their own separate videos. So again, duality, that's kind of it right now, is our twin plays, your rampage plays. You can do things with like Mega Fleet into Cyber Eternity or Cyber End Dragon. That's probably the most relevant, rank 10. Cyber Twin, you can Fortress your opponent and then Fortress into Cyber Twin. So do keep those in mind as well. Cyber Dragon Core and a Speller Trap to discard. Obviously Clockwork has the graveyard effect, but we're not worried about that right now. So we're going to go ahead, you get your extra normal summon, discard, search Power Bond, make Seeger, then you can affect to deck then if you're playing the Claw, Power Bond, and here we go Cyber Twin. You can also obviously go Cyber Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, mill 2, and gain 2 additional attacks. To go one step further, if you do have any monster in your hand, it does not need to be a cyber monster, you could actually use a prosperity now, because we're going to deal over 18,000 damage this turn, 18,900 to be exact. Power Bond, Rampage. Now we're going to want to mill the Hertz and the Naxter, because then you can Naxter, discard, special summon, and bring back your Cyber Dragon Seeger. So then Seeger can boost your Rampage to 6,300, who can now attack 3 times. Keeping in mind, Seeger can still attack, it just will deal no damage, and there is that. And you must use the effect before you declare. You cannot like declare and then chain the attack like in damage calc to try to pump up Rampage. The moment you declare an attack, you cannot use the effect. You can also use it on your opponent's turn, keep in mind. And then Seeger battle takes no damage. Like, I don't know, say they have Blue Eyes attacking a 2100 Rampage, and they go Blue Eyes attack. Okay, you can use Seeger to boost your Rampage. Now Blue Eyes is gone. They had 2 Blue Eyes, right? So the second Blue Eyes attacks over Seeger then, and well, your Seeger's gone, but you don't take damage for it. So that is how that works. Those are not on the test, so that's why I thought I would point it out. What if you open no core or necessarily way to core? I mean, Horizon is a way to core, it just is a bit redundant at that point. If you open Claw or Realm, you can go Realm into Claw into Horizon, or you can go Claw into Horizon. This does require a Cyber name specifically. It can be Cyber or Cyber Dark, so our hands are getting a little more specific while also still being pretty generic. And then we can just go ahead, you dump the Chimera, the one from hand, and Cyber Eternity, because that actually gives you a little bit of protection in the graveyard. Search out your Naxter, and then you can banish for the protection again. Naxter, go ahead, normal summon, special summon, discard, summon your Seeger, and you actually have 2 in graveyard, so you can keep the Seeger on field. So that does 18,900 once again. This is a standard 2-play combo if you were familiar with Verde Anaconda. It's basically the same thing we're going back to, except now with SP Little Knight. The bonus of SP Little Knight is going second. You have the effect where you can banish a card from the graveyard or field when it's summoned, because we use our Albarage. Apologies. And if you go first, well, you just don't use that effect, and now when they use an effect, you can banish it and that monster or a card they control, and you still have your Infinity Negate, and it does come back, which is kind of big, keep in mind, because obviously then you have a free Link 2 on your turn if you want to try and play bigger Link cards. But yeah, it's just nice that like Core Extender once again gets us multiple interruptions, because that's something Cyber Dragon really lacked. What about Core Machine Dupe? We're going to, obviously you can search out Overflow, do the same thing that we just did, and have Overflow on top of it. Or we can go old school and do one of our OTK combo lines, being Cyber Dragon Nova, discard, summon, or detach to summon. Keeping in mind too, you must have a Cyber Dragon in graveyard when you use the effect. Yes, you detach then target, but you cannot activate it if it's an illegal activation. So you must have any Cyber Dragon in graveyard to activate it, but once you activate it, you detach and then you target. So you can summon the one you detach, you just have to have a different one there prior to it. So then you attack 21, attack 42, effect to boost 63 is 8,400. That's in case, I guess, if you don't want to play the Power Bond package or Cyber Load Fusion, just a good OTK to know that you have at your disposal. Or you could play Duality if you wish. Another thing that you could really do, especially because of cards like Triple Tactics Thrust, is play Overload Fusion, make an easy Seeger, and then Overload Fusion off of Thrust, and then win the game that way. So Core Dupe Extender, what can we do here? This one I was just kind of messing around with. I was like, okay, so if you go ahead and go Dupe, you can go Vimana, and now you're protected from Nibiru as well. And we're still going to end with our 3 disruption. However many cards your combo takes, you should end with a minimum of that many disruption. 3 card combo, minimum 3 disruption. Otherwise, it's just simply not worth it. Tier 1 decks are going to use like 3 cards to put up 5 negates, or disruption I should say. and that's why they're tier 1. Cyber Dragon uses 3 to put up 3 in pure, so that's why it is where it is. If it put up more, obviously it would be like tier 2, tier 1.5, something like that, but it doesn't, so it is not. This was another play that I just wanted you guys to be aware of the interaction, how it works. So if you have a Cyber Dragon on the field and you banish your Dry, this card, if it's banished, you can target one Cyber Dragon you control. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn. You might say, why does that matter? It doesn't matter, but say your opponent has Solemn Judgment, Solemn Strike, or something like that has to respond directly to Rampage popping their back row. You actually get to go Chain Link 1 Rampage, Chain Link 2 Dry, and then they miss their timing window to activate some of those cards, and your Rampage can go ahead and pop their back row. Like I said, Strike and Solemn Judgment being two of the biggest options. So here we just do a random test hand to try and show us an interaction that I had. Obviously not exactly, because it was not a mirror match and we didn't have identical hands. In a tournament setting, just being aware of the game state and where you're at. Like he had like 5,000 life points or something like that left. I didn't have infinity, but I just have to kind of set this up semi the same as it was. So we're just gonna go ahead and get that rid of there. Because I needed the hertz to get the core back. He actually had a monster and an imperm. I had overflow set, nothing else on my board, and I had hertz in my grave. I probably had really similar grave setup actually. So he had a monster and imperm. I had overflow, no other monsters, and I normal summoned core. He chained imperm, and I overflowed to dodge it. But not only did I go to dodge it, he had whatever monster, maybe it was even in the extra monster zone because it was against Salamangreat and I knew I could just mega fleet it away. However, by banishing the hertz from the graveyard as well and getting rid of that random card on their field, even though the getting rid of the imperm because you hit the core and you're going to use the core pop for the random card, but I banished the hertz as well to pop the imperm. And he seemed very confused, and I was like, okay, banish 2, and he only had the monster and the imperm, and I was like, pop both cards, and he seemed kind of confused as to why I would pop the imperm, but because then core can search out Cyberload Fusion, and I Cyberload Fusioned both of them into Rampage, whereas if I didn't pop the imperm, I would not have been able to Cyberload Fusion in that case, and I would not have won the game. But because I did, and I did. So just like game awareness, knowing right where you're at. There's some niche plays that can come up kind of like that. Yeah, like always be aware of the current game state, your life point count, your graveyard, your deck. Repair Plans has 2 effects, by the way, and if you have 3 Cyber Dragons in the graveyard, you can activate them both in order. So that's the thing that you can do to keep machine duplication live. So just be aware of these other little effects, niche effects. Hers' effect to become level 5 comes up once in a while. A lot of people forget that it's even a thing. Hertz also can add from grave or from deck too, so keep that in mind. There's so many little things that you can do that really can win or lose you the game, and just read through your cards, ask questions, play more, test more, and best of luck to you on your endeavors. Again, if you wish to see these variant videos and go through them, starting with Pier tomorrow, let me know down below what other variants you'd like to see. Again, branded will be the next one to do, and then kind of up in the air. We might just stick right to the poll. Otherwise, check out that survey too. I want to see someone get 100% on it. So far 14 have tried once again, and 0 have succeeded. It's not necessarily easy, it's a little tricky, guys, but I want to see who knows what. Thank you guys for watching, and take care.